Alright, I guess this Robert Wadlow is one tall dude. So now we got to graph this data. Here's how we do it. We're going to put age right here in years. Poor guy only lived to be 23, so we're going to go all the way to, actually, 22. He only lived to 22. 12. 23, yep, 23 got us all the way to the edge. Okay, and then it looks like we got to go by, I think, 5s. So 5. So his actual height is going to be the y-axis. So his height, we're going by 5s, 10, 15, 20. Alright, so I just paused the video and hurry and did those because that's pretty boring. Alright, so we're going to plot the points that we have. So we have 5 and 64. So 5 and 64 would be right here, right about there, right about there. Okay. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. So that's all we're doing now is just plotting the points, 9 and 74 and a half. So I go to 9, and I go to 74 and a half, which would be really close to 75, about right there. Okay, so I'll just erase those. Whoops, I erased my mark. 6, 7, 8, right here, I think it's right there. Yep. And then, yeah, you just keep doing it. So I'm going to push pause and hurry and graph these. And you can go ahead and hurry and graph these yourself. Alright, that was kind of a pain, but we got all the dots. We plotted all the dots, and so now we've got our scatter plot. And we can see that the data is nice and linear. Don't draw that line, but it's nice linear, positive linear relationship. But now we're going to take and we're going to do what's called a line of best fit. Okay? It helps us to make predictions, and scientists use them all the time. So here's our line of best fit. I'm going to try to, you should have a ruler or a straight edge and try to draw a nice straight line. I'm going to put it about right there. Okay? And notice I made it go through the y-axis and off the chart just a little bit. Okay? So next thing we got to do, after you draw your line of best fit, is complete the rest of your table based on your line of best fit. So let's go back and we'll put our dots. Oops, whoops, giant dot. Let's go back and put the rest of our dots where they would be. One there, 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 one right there. Okay. Also, we need to make a prediction when if he would have lived to be 23 and continued to grow. So let's fill out. I'm going to fill that out. What I think, you fill out what you think. It's okay if these numbers are not the same. It's totally okay. So you decide what you want to put, and I'll put mine down right now. So take a minute and do that. Alright, so you can take a look at what I wrote. Maybe you agree with that, maybe you don't. But that's the dots I came up with based on my line of best fit, so I'm guessing that's how tall he was. We need to add a point here. We need to add 0 age. So that would be when he was born. Well, according to the graph, that would be right here. So right there. So that's the y-intercept. That's when he was born. He was 50 inches long. I don't know about that. That doesn't seem possible, does it? So I'm sure the graphs sure that's not right, but we're just going to go with 50 inches when he was born, okay? Y-intercept, 0, 50. Okay, all right. So we actually just answered number 5. What is the y-intercept, or the 0th birthday, or the 0 tower? 50. Now, if you have something close to 50, that's fine. Close to 50 is fine, okay? But we do need to figure out the slope of the line, and this says pick 2 points. But another word for slope is rate of change. So let's just look at our table and look at the numbers and figure it out that way. I think it's easier. Changing by 3, changing by 2, changing by 3, changing by 4, changing by 2, changing by 2, changing by 3. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. How about we go with 2.5? Rate of change is 2.5-ish. What does that mean? That means that kid grew 2.5 inches every year. That's his rate of change. So our slope is 2.5. That means we've got our formula mx plus b. M is the slope, 2.5. B is where you can begin. 50. I can't even say it good anymore. So we'll use this equation later. And yours might be different. Okay, yours might be better than mine, okay? All right. Okay, now we got to enter our data into our table, into L1 and L2. Okay, so to get to L1 and L2, you got to hit list on your calculator. Okay, raise your hand if you run into trouble when you get this far, and I'll come help you, but I'll show you what you're going to do next here in just a sec. All right, you guys, so you're going to push list right here. And that'll take you to this screen. And in L1, you're going to put age 0 to 23. Just type 0, enter, 1, enter. And then in L2, you put his height. In L2, okay? Once you do that, you can go back and read the directions, okay, to what it says on the bottom of the paper, or you can listen to this video. Alrighta? Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, now you've typed in all this data, and now you're going to go to second, push second, and then y equals. That'll take you to your plots. You're going to plot your data. You just did. You typed in all that data. Now we got to plot it, okay? So that'll take you to this screen right here when you do second y equals. And you're going to choose number 1 and hit enter. That'll take you to this screen. Then you want to turn it on, highlight on, hit enter. And then you want the scatter plot chosen. And your X list should say L1 and your Y list should say L2. Okay, because that's where you put your data. Okay, nice. That's bloody nice. We're going to get this. And then you want to push zoom right here. And then you want zoom statistics. That's going to take care of your window here. And then you will get a picture of your scatter plot. It's nice and linear, positive. Okay. And the last thing you need to do is go to y equals right here and type in your equation and see how we did. Hit trace when you're done, and you'll get this, and you can see your line of best fit is off just a little. Dang it. Can you figure out an equation that would get the line Just a little steeper looks better to me. That looks better. Hey, you guys did awesome. Thanks for listening to my scratchy voice. You guys are great. Thanks. Find a better equation and show me. And great job. Thanks, guys.